Hi, double down on competition to double your growth. I've always been a fan of ignoring competition, but you can apply a really smart focus on competition and double your growth. Let me show you how. We've got around 1,700 plans, sales and marketing plans in our database. These are companies that have built their sales and marketing plan using our funnel plan software, or we've helped them to do it, either one. I analyse those almost every day, and I go looking for gold. Once a week I share with you one little insight that I've found from that analysis. And here's a cracker, I think you're going to enjoy this. One of the options in Funnel Plan is to include or exclude competitive analysis. So it's not mandated that you have any kind of focus on competition at all. And it's often turned off, and we often advocate turning it off. I'll explain to you in a moment when and why that's a really smart thing to do. But the point that I just wanted to share with you right now is that when I looked at our plans stack ranked by growth, so these 1,700 plans stack ranked by growth, I took the top half and I compared them to the bottom half. What I found is that the top half were twice as likely to have competition enabled than the bottom half. In English, the high growth companies were twice as likely to focus on their competition than their slower growth counterparts. What on earth is going on there? We've got three parts to our business: planning, training, and execution, or doing the marketing for smaller clients. In that third piece, in the execution side of the business, we're often dealing with companies who have yet to gain the level of momentum that they want to. They're dealing often with buyers who need to be convinced that they need to buy anything, let alone the product or service that our client is offering. So we're trying to really deal with a very early stage market there. This is what my favourite author, Geoffrey Moore, refers to as getting out of the chasm, or crossing the chasm. He's got two great books on this subject, Crossing the Chasm and Inside the Tornado. The chasm is that horrible period when you've run out of early adopters, but you don't yet have what is needed to satisfy the early pragmatists in what Moore calls the bowling alley. Now, that's the marketing services side of our business. We're often dealing with either pre or just post chasm, or what Moore calls the early market and the bowling alley. On the planning side of our business, we've got businesses dealing with all stages of the market maturity: very late, very early, everything in between. And Moore argues, and we have in all of our planning workshops for the last 20 years, that the early stages of a market are a great time to ignore the competition. Often because there's no competition, but also because if the buyer's trying to be convinced that they should buy from anybody, don't worry so much about from whom, just why do you even need to make this change, is the bigger argument. So ignore the competition. But here's the rub. Once the market kicks into hypergrowth, what Geoffrey Moore calls the tornado, you don't ignore them, you actually attack them. Buyers at this stage, or those who are willing to buy at this stage, are those who don't need to be convinced that you need to buy. They need to be convinced that they need to buy from you. And that's when you want to attack the competition. And the connection? Fast growth plans in our database are for companies in the tornado. So they do need to focus on competition. Slower growth companies, or plans that are for slower growth periods, are either before or after the tornado, and therefore don't need to focus on the competition. So it seems like our funnel plan customers are really smart, because they're using competition analysis only at the right time, when they're in hypergrowth. So what can you do about that? Well, firstly, understand how mature your market is. If it's in an early stage, ignore the competition. If it's in the hypergrowth phase, focus on the competition and attack them. And that's when in your funnel plan you need to enable competitive analysis. If you get a little stuck, use the help in Funnel Plan. We'll show you how to do it. There's also a video that I want you to watch. In fact, there are two that I want you to watch. One is inside the funnel plan itself. Go to the target page inside your funnel plan and you'll find there's a video there on maturity. There's also another video I'd like you to watch, which I've included in the show notes today, so you can take a look at that to really understand maturity, when to focus on it. Again, in your funnel plan, turn off competition if you're in an early stage, turn it on again if you're in the tornado. Now, if you don't have a funnel plan, get one now, get it for free. Go to funnelplan.com. Funnel plans there are absolutely free. Grab one for yourself now. I hope you got value from this. I had lots of fun putting it together for you. Loads more lined up for next week, and until then, may your funnel be full and always flowing. Our thanks this week to this article, How to Beat the Competition by Ignoring Them, an article I put together some time ago, to Jeffrey Moore, of course, in Crossing the Chasm, referenced in that article, to Claudia Ivanka for production. My name's Hugh McFarlane, and it's been my absolute pleasure to have scripted and presented this week's show.